As an addendum to my Friday afternoon White House report, Kevin McCarthy clawed his way to his coveted speakership position during a 15th post-midnight session after many harsh concessions to the hard right. His agreement with ultra-conservative Republicans delivered a breakthrough for the California Republican, but he still had to claw his way to the post, giving away almost everything and making it almost impossible for him to govern. That may or may not be the point. Many of these holdouts don't believe in a functioning democratic government. They include a demand by the ultra-conservative Freedom Caucus that a single member can introduce a motion to, quote, vacate the chair. And this means that every day that Speaker McCarthy makes any move that isn't to the liking of the far right, just one of them can initiate a move for his ouster as Speaker. Another demand threatens to tank the economy of the United States with a very tough line on raising the debt limit. As one of the holdouts who flipped, Representative Ralph Norman asked rhetorically, is he, or McCarthy, willing to shut down the government rather than raise the debt ceiling? That's a non-negotiable item. Another concession was a pledge by McCarthy to do floor votes on term limits and border security. In essence, this is a messaging measure, as those votes would surely die in the Senate, either by vote or by filibuster. Another concession surrounds funding for ultra-conservative candidates in primary races. Arch-conservatives have been upset that McCarthy's PAC, the Conservative Leadership Fund, or the CLF, had worked to back what they perceived to be, quote, more electable candidates, i.e. those that appeal to moderates and independents rather than solely conservatives. The CLF brokered a deal with the Club for Growth that will impact Republicans that join the House in the future. In wake of that, the Club for Growth, a PAC lined with the hard right, issued a statement on its website. Quote, the CLF will not spend in any open seat primaries in safe Republican districts, and the CLF will not grant resources to other super PACs to do so. And the CLF has never spent a dollar against a Republican incumbent before and obviously will continue that policy in the future. With the PAC, that group threw its support to McCarthy. Already, that deal has drawn legal ire. Tiffany Muller, president of End Citizens United, penned a letter to Chief Counsel and Staff Director of the House Office of Congressional Office, pointing out that, quote, in an effort to secure enough votes for the speakership position, McCarthy and House staff appear to be negotiating political spending in federal races, including drafting amendments to reflect their agreement using the official resources of the House. A PAC, by law, is not allowed to coordinate with any candidate, and this arrangement appears to violate that basic premise. The far right also targeted appropriations. McCarthy reportedly agreed to allow, quote, open rules on spending and measures, and these could lead to lengthy debates with the right's efforts to zero out funding for programs unpopular with Republicans. And those programs include Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and even mandated funding for the United Nations. If the right got its way on any of these measures, it would dramatically affect everyone's lives. With a target on appropriations comes the right's demand for discretionary spending cap. In essence, they demand that any debt ceiling hike must be paired with spending cuts. Again, this would effectively end Social Security. And another concession revolves around certain Republicans' obsession of what they perceive to be the Biden administration's, quote, weaponization of the government by the DOJ. According to a package prepared by the negotiators, the deal would create a select subcommittee on the weaponization of the federal government as a select investigative subcommittee of the Committee of the Judiciary. It would also create a select committee on the strategic competition between the United States and the Chinese Communist Party, or the CCP. And while other of McCarthy's string of concessions might drive the global economy into a tailspin, one of the most alarming might have been the far right's demand for 3 seats on the powerful Rules Committee, which controls the bills that make it to the House floor. Typically, the committee is split 7-4 between the parties, and as Representative Jim McGovern from Massachusetts, the most recent Rules Chair Committee, said to NBC, the reason these people want to be on the Rules Committee is they want to screw things up for McCarthy. They want to micromanage every single thing that he brings to the floor. He has given everything away, including his dignity, to try to become Speaker. And if he becomes Speaker, his nightmares just begin. This is Douglas Christian.